Hello, my name is Eric Farmer. I'm with the Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation. We're the ones that administer the lottery scholarship, the state grants, and all other state financial aid programs for you or your students to use to go to school inside the state of Tennessee. Today, I am going to talk about the FAFSA, some of the changes, and also give you some information about the Tennessee Promise. I do apologize for me not being able to be there with you. However, if you have questions or need anything, feel free to contact me. That is my contact information. You can drop me an email, send me a text. I'm also on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and would love to answer any questions you may have about this process. So, in saying that, let's get started. So when you are helping students with the college going process and they start looking at colleges, they're going to first notice that colleges have a wide range and can be very expensive. But as you know, they can also be looking at their own financial situation and realize it's pennies comparatively, and then they go into a panic. I want to say thank you, counselors, for being who you are, to try to keep the students out of panic and to put their minds at ease as they go through this process. The FAFSA is open now. The senior class of this year will be completing the 2017-2018 FAFSA. You want to make sure the students go to fafsa.gov. That is the website. That's the free website they can go to. The student and parent will need to create an FSA ID using usernames and passwords, and that will actually get them to sign the FAFSA that way with the FSA ID. Now, the cool thing about the FAFSA this year and from this point forward is the fact that the student will be able to use, and the parent will be able to use something called an IRS data retrieval tool on the front end instead of on the tail end after you update taxes. So they would pull the tax information of 2015 directly from the IRS into the FAFSA. And that's right, I did say 2015 tax information. This year's FAFSA is going to a prior year. So when you look at the FAFSA year, the first year of the FAFSA application is 2017. You go 2 years back, and we'll be using 2015 tax information. Also, what's cool with this FAFSA is that once you've used the 2015 tax information, you do not have to go back in and update that information as well. You just leave it the way it is because it wants the 2015 tax information. So tell your parents that you don't have to go back in and update once you file your 2016 taxes. Use the 2015 and you're done. Now, I will say this. If you come across a parent or family that income has changed, marital status has changed, what they'll need to do is still complete the FAFSA using 2015 tax information, but contact the financial aid offices of the colleges that the student is interested in, just to let them know about the situation and so they can explain what process the family might have to go through in order to get that change. It's going to be called professional judgment. It's going to be the judgment of this institution to determine if they are going to change the EFC based upon the new income and whatnot. But it's going to be up to each institution to do that. So who's eligible to complete the FAFSA? A U.S. citizen, someone who's an eligible non-citizen is one who has a green card, who has an arrival departure record, which is basically an I-94. A student who has battered immigrant status, and a student who has a T1 visa, or a T visa. The parent will not have a T1. Those individuals can complete the FAFSA. Now, the ones who can't are the ones who have the deferred action socials, the DACA socials, those can't. Students with an F1 or F2 visa, students with a J1 or J2 exchange visitor visa, a G series visa, or any other category that is not listed as an eligible non-citizen. So those students won't be able to complete the FAFSA. And I want to send it back. The DACA students can complete the FAFSA, but it's going to be returned incomplete because we won't be able to process and generate an EFC. I've known in the past that some institutions actually ask the DACA students to complete a FAFSA for their own institutional purposes, but the DACA students are not going to be eligible for federal or state aid. And that's what a DACA social card looks like. Actually, on there it says valid for work only with INS authorization. So the checklist, what to look for. Of course, you need the student social, the parent social. If the student has a driver's license, that as well. 2015 tax information, the actual paper copy itself of the 1040 whatever. Let it be A, let it be EZ or the regular 1040, the actual official copy, records of untaxed income such as child support and veterans non-educational benefits for students and parents, information on checking and savings account balances, investments, business and farm assets as well. That will be needed to be put in the FAFSA. Now sometimes you might have students that ask, do I have to put my parents' information on the FAFSA? Well, if they answer no to all these questions, then the answer is yes, they do have to put their parents' information on their FAFSA. For instance, are they 24 years or older, if they're married, if they're working on their master's or doctorate, are they in the armed forces, are they veterans, do they have children or dependent receiving half of their support from the student? Since the student turned 13, were both the parents deceased? Was the student in foster care or the ward of the court? Is the student the emancipated minor, the student under legal guardianship? Is a student an unaccompanied youth who is homeless? Answered no to all those questions, then yes, you have to use the parents' information. The student answers yes to any one of those questions. At the moment that he does that, the FAFSA is going to turn him independent, and he or she is just going to use their information to complete the FAFSA. However, they will have to submit documentation proving that status that they selected. So let's say they selected legal guardianship. They will need to come up with the paperwork that shows that the student is under legal guardianship. And after that point, the financial aid will verify them that he is under legal guardianship, and the student at that point will be independent. Now, who is my parent? Your parent is someone who's biological or adoptive, or a step parent as well. The people who are on this form are not your parents. And so their information never goes in the FAFSA. And then when I look at the top, I did say step parents, but the top one says widowed step parent. A widowed step parent, or even let's say a student, mom and a step parent gets divorced and the student lives with a step parent, that's still not your parent. The only time the step parent's information goes on the FAFSA is if they're married to the biological or adoptive parent. Now, the widow step parent, the grandparents, foster parents, legal guardians, older brother and sister, and uncles or aunts, information never goes on the FAFSA. So it's just going to be biological or adoptive parents along with their spouses, such as the step parent or not. Remember, you have to do an FSA ID. Both the student and the parent will need one. If you notice at the diagram up here, the students and parents' Gmail account are different. The usernames are different, but some of the passwords and some of the answers to the questions are the same, which is fine. The username, email addresses, and password, the username, email addresses have to be different because you can use email address as your username. It's not required that you use an email address, but I highly recommend it. So if something's wrong or you can't remember your password or your username, you can get it recalled or reset through the email account. So that's that with the FAFSA. So here comes information about the Tennessee Promise and like an update of the report. So of course, Tennessee Promise is part of the Drive to 55 initiative that Governor Haslam has initiated. He wants 55% of the working age adults in Tennessee to have a post-secondary credential. In other words, either having a associate's degree or a certificate or even bachelor's degree. The goal setting was based upon findings from a report called Decade Behind. Currently, once the initial data of this report came out, we're at 39% attainment. So that means we still have quite a bit of work to do. 33.8% of the Tennessee's population have an associate's degree or higher. 4.5%, and that's being conservative, have some type of post-secondary certificate. Now, with cohort 1 of the Tennessee Promise, that's the graduates of the class of 15, total in the public and private schools is about 74,000 students that applied. Or there's 74,000 students total in the seniors that year. 58,000 of them applied. 43,000 of them attended the first mandatory meeting. 38,000 of that group completed the FAFSA. almost 32,000 of what was remaining actually attended the second meeting, and then 22,500 actually completed the community service. And so enrolled in the fall of 15 was 16,291 students that used the Tennessee Promise. Now, the retention rate between fall and spring was about 10,000 students, and we lost about 6. The retention rate from fall to fall, so fall a full 1 year, is 7,800 students. Now, there's an asterisk that says pending fall certifications. This process is ongoing, and this number will change throughout this semester. And once we get all the certification numbers, which should be more in the spring semester, these numbers will be final. Total cost for year 1 is $15,222,522. The average award, though, per student is $934, which is not a lot considering the fact that of how many students actually applied and what the money was used for. It's for the last dollar tuition mandatory fee scholarship. Cohort 1, 85% of them did enroll into a community college. 13% did enroll into a TCAT, and 2% of the Tennessee Promise students enrolled into an eligible private institution. Of those who all completed requirements but did not enroll, some of them went to the 4-year institutions, some of them went to a private or out of state, and just some of them didn't enroll. Those are some of the reasons why. The college going rate actually increased as well. The fall of 15 college going rate was at 62.5%. It was a 1-year increase of 4.6%. Approximately 4,000 new entrants into higher education in Tennessee. Most of them, of course, went to the community college or TCATs right out of high school. If you look at this diagram, you notice how Tennessee Promise did help the college going rate between the 2014 and 15 year. The college going rate in Tennessee had been increasing since 2007, but the first year of Tennessee Promise made it bump really high, really quick. To be honest, I am not expecting the same bump for cohort 2 when that data comes in. Just on a side note, the FAFSA, this is why we push to get all the students to complete the FAFSA, not because there's money out there, but also somewhat of some pride. Tennessee is the #1 state for completing the FAFSA. 70% of the senior class in 2015 filed their FAFSA. That was an increase of 12 percentage points over 12 months. Now, just to let you know, Tennessee comprised of the 40% of all FAFSA growth nationwide. So in other words, because of there was a growth of FAFSA nationwide, but 40% of that growth was because of Tennessee and what we did, and that's why we're number one. I would love to keep us number one. So encourage your students to complete their FAFSA. Is a lot easier than it was a year before, and the hardest part is doing the FSAID. So if they want to do the FSAID before they come in and complete their FAFSA, I would highly encourage them to do so. The loan take-up actually decreased. There's 17% fewer students taking out loans compared to 2014. At some community colleges, the decrease was as much as 25%. So that's awesome. So cohort 2, the class of 16, they have about 75,000 public and private high school students nationwide. Almost 60,000 applied. There's about 51,000 that attended the first mandatory meeting. About 49,000 attended or did the FAFSA completion deadline. We actually extended that deadline. 32,000, almost 33,000 attended the second mandatory meeting, and 23,000 had the community service done this year. We still don't have fall enrollment numbers because a lot of the students haven't been certified yet. But once they are certified, like I said, there's going to be another report in the spring that's going to come out, and you'll be able to see the actual enrollment for the fall. So with year one results, so cohort 2 has the entering freshman year of college. About between 16 and 17,000 students are enrolling. Their next deadline is December 1st because of the community service. And cohort 2, or cohort 1 and 2 put together, has a total cost of $26.5 million. Cohort 3, who just started the process this year, they're estimated to have 60 plus applications. Of course, their application opened up August 1st, and with cohort 1, 2, and 3 put together, the estimated cost is about $33 million. So that is the presentation. If you got questions, like I said, feel free to contact me. Name is Eric Farmer. That's my email address, telephone number. I'm also on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. All right. It was a different experience. I really enjoyed being there with y'all, but like I said, unfortunately, none of us were able to join. We're all doing FAFSA completions, FAFSA frenzies, and it's in full effect. To let you be honest, it is now Thursday night at 9:49 Central Time. I'm doing this now because this is actually the only time I've been able to sit down and do this presentation for Sammy. Sammy, you're doing a great job with this. I do appreciate everything you've done, and keep up the good work. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, if you got questions, feel free to contact me, give me a holler, and talk to you soon.